Welcome into another episode of Nightmare Stories The Other Side. Today we welcome in Emily Watterson, otherwise known as Emily Paranormal, and this is part one of our two-part podcast. So welcome in, Emily, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Emily. As you know, I've been investigating the paranormal officially now for only around 4 years. I've been interested in the paranormal for many, many years. I've done a lot of research, looking at books. I was the child who would sort of leave school and go to the library and look for the haunted local hauntings and local books in the libraries. Um, I had my first experience when I was 13, when I saw my grandmother at the end of my bed just 2 weeks after she passed away. So that kind of got me really interested in how, why, and what. So yeah, that's where it all stemmed from.
All right. Yeah, I kind of hear that from a lot of people they have paranormal interactions when they're younger kids, which kind of,
Yeah.
sparks that curiosity, whether it be grandparents or parents that have
Mm,
passed away. And it's just like, I never really, for me, I never had that experience. So it's kind of like, for me,
yeah.
getting into the paranormal was just got invited on an investigation. So it's like, everybody has a different
Yeah.
backstory.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for like you being 13 and seeing your grandmother, was it just seeing her? Was there any other interaction besides that?
No, just seeing her. But the feeling I got when I saw her, so I always think of if you'd have told me at 13 I was going to see the ghost of my dead grandma, I would have been really, really frightened, really scared, shocked. But when I saw her, I sort of woke up and sat up in bed. She was stood at the bottom of my bed, but she looked very, very young. Not how I would have recognized her, but I knew it was her. And I felt this sort of rush of like love and warmth. I almost felt like the warmth was around me like a hug.
Okay.
I just laid back down and went back to sleep. And that just got me questioning, sort of, was I imagining it? Did I dream it? Was it real? Could it be real? There's so
Yeah.
many questions going through my mind.
Oh, for sure. And like that next morning when you woke up, did you mention it to your parents or say anything to
I did,
anybody about it?
yeah, straight away. I told my mum because it was my mother's mum that I'd
Okay.
seen. So I told her, and my mum was very supportive of it. She didn't just sort of say, "Oh, don't be silly,"
Yeah.
ghosts don't exist. You didn't see anything. She was very supportive, and we spoke about it. And then, my mum's quite interested in the paranormal as well. So yeah, we just had so many questions as to how could it be possible.
Right. Do you know if like your mom had any paranormal experiences growing up at all?
I don't think my mum did, but she has told me of experiences that sort of some of her family members sort of before I was born when she was a child, some experiences they had. So that was always quite interesting.
Okay. So after that initial experience, did you have any other, paranormal encounters throughout your childhood into early adult life?
Lots of feelings. So I've never sort of during my childhood and growing up, I never saw anything else. Sort of visually, I never saw another apparition. But lots and lots of feelings. I realized that I was an empath because I was picking up on other people's feelings. I go around a lot of sort of historical places just to visit with my family, which I've always done. And sort of way back, sort of when my children were really young, before I'd been out on investigations, I'd go to these places and I'd pick up energies and emotions and things like that. So I'd walk into a room in a castle, and all of a sudden I'd just want to cry, or I'd feel really happy and those sorts of things. So I've had sort of a lot of those types of experiences.
Okay. So in your travels and going to all these locations, when did you really decide that you wanted to step into the paranormal world and start investigating?
Um, I just decided that I needed to do to do more than just read about it and research about it. And I had been to see a local medium, and she had told me that I had sort of I had the ability to sense things and feel things, and I should use that, and I should sort of do something with it. And I kind of then found a group to go out with because I wasn't sure who to go out with because there's
Hmm.
a lot of sort of entertainment groups out there.
Yeah.
And you see these sort of really extortionately priced tickets for places, and you sort of think, oh, do I go out with them? Or, I kind of wanted to do small private investigations because I wanted to sort of investigate rather than ghost hunt.
Yeah.
So it took me quite a while just to find somewhere that I could go to sort of to do what I wanted to do.
Okay. So like after you saw that medium and then you found out or an empath, what did that mean to you?
Um, Realizing that I was an empath it took quite a while to kind of I still struggle with it sometimes. I can be walking past two people in a supermarket or on the street, and they could be crying for no reason. One could be comforting the other, and as I walk past them, I will cry because I'm just absorbing their energy.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's really, really hard to try and control that and sort of say, hang on, that's not my feeling. I find it really difficult sometimes. I'm still trying to work on that.
Okay.
And in buildings, sometimes I'll get really angry and start snapping at people, and I'm like, oh, sorry, that's
Yeah,
I'm not angry. It's quite hard to deal with sometimes.
I get that. So how would you put into words, like, for people who don't know what an empath is or just, beginning that journey, in your own words, what do you say an empath is?
It basically you become a sponge for everybody's feelings. So you just pick up on the energy that someone else is giving off. So the energy of whether they're sort of sad, happy, excited, um, all these different feelings you can get from people or from the atmosphere, from a room or a building. So if there's been a trauma in a building in an area, you'll pick up on that feeling. It's just all about sort of absorbing all these feelings and then trying to understand that they're not yours. They belong to somebody else,
Okay.
and just trying to deal with that.
So, continuing the topic, so like, are there, I don't know because I'm not obviously an empath, but are there like, people you can constantly reach out to get guidance? Are there like books that you can read, just to kind of better understand and build on it?
Yeah, I'm guessing that I haven't got a book, but I'm guessing there are many books that you could go to. But I have some really close friends who are also empaths. So we sort of talk together and we help each other out. So I've got just a few very, very good friends who understand it. They're in the same position.
Okay. So, and then, what would you say? You might have already answered it, but like, what would you say is like the biggest struggle being an empath? Is it just like, the constant flood of emotions? Is there a way to like kind of, you know, turn that off at times, or is it always on?
For me, it's always on, and I've tried so many times to try and sort of turn it off. But I think I'm a naturally emotional person anyway. I'm quite sensitive and emotional anyhow. So obviously, people's emotions sort of are probably I feel them stronger.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's yeah, I can't seem to just switch it off,
All right.
which can be
So,
quite annoying.
yeah, I would get that. So for, being an empath, what would you say would be the wildest spirit interaction you've had on that level?
Um, Probably. I there was a place I went to called Hinchinbrook House in obviously not far from where I live in Huntingdonshire, or not far from Cambridge. And I went there and I became really angry. I was sort of digging my nails into my hands, tensing up and getting really, really angry and started pacing. Um, and there was a medium there with us, and they had already picked up on an angry male. So I was obviously picking up on his energy. And I got so angry. But in the end, I decided that I needed to walk away. So I went to walk to leave the room, and I was pushed in the back very, very hard, to the point I fell on the floor. So that was the most, probably the craziest time when I've had feelings that weren't mine.
Okay.
And then something's happened.
All right. So kind of shifting focus. So like when you, started, really going out and investigating, do you recall where you investigated first?
Yes, my very first investigation was a very local museum to myself, Ramsey Rural Museum. It's a museum all about the fens and the fenland. It's not far at all from where I live, um, and it was just a small group of us. It was a good investigation.
So for people that may not be um familiar, I saw it quite a bit on your Facebook page. Can you like, tell us what the fens are? Because I have no idea.
Okay, so in it sort of East Anglia area, sort of you probably know Cambridge. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Cambridge. So around sort of around that area, it's a large area. Years and years ago, it used to be just sort of marshlands, lots of marshlands area. But over the years, it was drained by a man came over and from I've got to get my facts right now without thinking. um, Holland, that area. He came over and drained the fens. So he made very straight, long drains, one of which I practically live on. His name was Vermuden, and we live along Vermuden's drain. So we're right on one of the drains, and they're dead straight drains that came off from the rivers, and they drained the land. There was lots of pumping stations around, and they just drained the water off of the land so it could be used for farming, for living on. And now, obviously, it's now all dry land, but we have very, very nice black soil. It's very, where it was a marshland once,
Okay.
it's now really lovely, rich soil.
All right.
But the fens still has to be pumped regularly. The drains still have to be released. They hold water and release water sort of as and when needed.
Okay. So going to your first investigation, you said it was a good investigation. What are some of the interactions that happened that night?
So I obviously I was new to it. I didn't know anyone, so I just sat fairly quiet that night. But a few things were happening. We had some hits on a K2 meter. We used a pendulum and made communication with a spirit on the pendulum. The spirit was stuck, trapped, so that spirit was sent over. Um, and we had quite a few EVPs, different noises, all of which absolutely fascinated me. I'd taken my notebook and written all this down, and it then spurred me on to go and do my next investigation. And then it just went from there, and it just, yeah, I couldn't stop.
Yeah, it's like, once you get that first investigation, it's like,
Mm,
even if nothing happens, it's just like
yeah,
you leave and it's like, when do I get to do this again?
yeah,
That's how it
exactly.
was for me. And I know like,
Yeah,
basically everybody, it's just kind of like you get
mm,
fixated and it's just like
yeah,
you want to experience more.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
so after your first investigation, where did that lead you to for like a second investigation? And then how did you, prepare yourself for that to make it different than the first?
Well, my second investigation was another reasonably local place. That was Wisbeach Castle. Um, and it's not actually a castle. Many, many years ago, in Norman times, a castle stood on the area, but it's now more of like a manor house. Um, and I went there with a completely different group of people that I went to the first one with. So I ventured out on my own again with strange people, which was quite scary, but I was so determined to do it. And that was very, very active and very interesting. We tried human pendulum there, and we did a few other different things. All these techniques and that I'd not heard of, I didn't know, I didn't understand. But I had bought myself a K2 meter, so I was really excited to have one piece of equipment. Um, and I was more aware of things because I'd learned something from the first
Yeah.
investigation. So I was sort of more aware of things. I was sort of quite comfortable going and doing a lone vigil. I tried that, and I was sort of getting used to terms that people were using, phrases and things like that.
Okay.
And yeah, that was a really, really good investigation.
So I'm kind of curious. So you guys said you tried a human pendulum. What exactly is that? I've never heard that term before.
Okay, it's something I haven't, to be honest, I haven't done it for quite a long time now, but I know quite a lot of groups like to use it. So you can do it one of two ways. If there's two of you, you stand probably about a meter, just under a meter apart. You hold hands, and then you drop back so that you're sort of you're holding hands, but you're pulling back, so
Okay.
you're sort of leaning back on it, like away from each other, but keep your hands tight, holding hands together, and then just ask spirit to move you backwards and forwards.
Interesting.
And the other way is to have one person stood in the middle, ask them to relax, try and go into like a meditative state, and then you have one person in front of them and one person behind them just to support them. So you put your hands up ready to support them
Yeah.
and ask spirit to move the person, sort of sway the person backwards or forwards for yes or no. Or yeah.
Interesting. That might be something we have to try. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, so I'm always up for trying all sorts of techniques because no one actually knows what works, what doesn't.
Right.
And yeah, I just always give everything a go.
Yeah, because like when you're out investigating, it's like, no team, no person like investigates the same. It's like everybody has
Mm.
their
Yeah,
different ways of going about it, and
yeah,
and there's no wrong way to do it. That's
exactly.
the cool thing about investigating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So for like, again, getting started and, finding people you're comfortable investigating within locations, what do you think is like one of or was one of your biggest challenges in the beginning?
Probably I would say going to those first sort of two or three investigations sort of on my own. Because I'm quite a sort of well, not so much now, but back then I was quite a sort of shy, reserved person. So I was very, very scared and very nervous, not about the investigation, not about being in the dark, not about spirit, but about going on my own into a group of people that I don't know. And I kind of just sort of sat there for the first sort of few minutes, until someone started talking to me. So that was probably the biggest fear factor for me.
Okay. Um, so, once you started getting more comfortable, like what was your next investigation? And then like, how did you step into that and what did you, as keep evolving, if you want to say?
Yeah, so after sort of the second investigation, I then found a group that I went out with who I then went out with regularly. I went out with them for around a year, um, did quite a few investigations, ended up then leading groups for them. So that sort of got me sort of really, really sort of into it deeper. I was sort of I'd had about a year of learning about it, and practicing it myself, and then I was then taking out small groups of people for this group, sort of taking teams to locations.
All right. So like what do you tell like when you during that year when you were taking out other people investigating, what were you really focusing on for them to get the best experience and, best evidence.
For them to be open-minded, and to try and like use all their senses, sort of listen for things, look for things, but still relax and keep an open mind, and also always just be respectful to spirit and to each other, because there seems to be quite a lot of disrespect running around in
Yeah.
the paranormal.
Um, I had a question that just kind of it just disappeared. So for, going into investigations, to you, what counts as evidence?
Right, so that's a really difficult one. I put a post up recently about what is evidence, because if you're having if you have a personal experience, like recently when I went to Graiseley Old Hall, I was touched or grabbed quite firmly on the arm. That to me is a personal experience. So that was, for me, that's evidence, because there was no one stood beside me. It was all on a live feed as well, because I was convinced one of the team had grabbed my arm, absolutely convinced. And if we hadn't had the live footage, I still would say to this day, no, one of you were tricking me, one of you touched me, because it was a really firm grab. But you can see that no one was near me. So to me, that was something grabbed my arm. So that's evidence. But it's really difficult. I think evidence these days is so difficult to prove, because I think with AI and everything that happens, the first thing everybody says is it's fake. She's
Right.
fake. But I think your personal experiences are evidence. They're your evidence. And at the end of the day, I'm investigating the paranormal for myself because I want to know the answer.
Yeah, for sure.
So my personal experiences, the EVPs I capture, the footsteps I might hear. Other people might think you were making it up, but they're my evidence for me.
Yeah, one of my, greatest pieces of evidence involves my daughter. We were back at Edinburgh Manor, which is down in central Iowa. It was
Hmm.
on Easter, and the group of people I was with, we were in the dining hall area and we were doing an Estes session. I wasn't getting anything, and we kind of were rotating around who was going under. And it
Yeah,
was storming out. So, like, over in the kitchen area, like, I kept hearing this loud banging. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go over there and check it out, see if it's paranormal, if it has something to do with the weather,
hmm.
whatnot. So I go over there and didn't see anything. I kept hearing it. So the kitchen's layout, you got the kitchen and the little hallway that goes to, like, would be the head cook's office. And
Yeah,
there's another hallway that goes out into the main hallway. When I look out the window and just find out it was the rain or hail beating against, like, a big metal piece out there.
yeah,
But then off to my left, I hear my daughter clear as day go, "Dad." And I'm like, I go, "What?" And didn't get an answer. I'm like, "Natalie, what did you want?" They're like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "I just heard her say dad off to my left." They go, "No, she's under Estes, she's not saying anything." And it's like immediately, like, all the hair on my arms raised.
yeah,
It just sent
yeah,
chills down my spine. So, like, there was
yeah.
something mimicking her voice, trying to lure me
Right.
in a different direction. And it's just like,
Yeah.
to this day, I'm
It's
like,
wow.
you can't
Yeah.
make that up.
No, exactly. No. And that's your personal experience, so that
Yep.
that's your evidence. Yeah.
It's like, it wasn't on, people go, well, how do we really believe it? You don't have it
Mm.
on camera, nobody hears it. I'm like, I go, look at my reaction when I'm talking about it. Like, in the
Yeah.
video, like, they come to me and just, like, my reaction is just, like, genuine. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
not making this up. There's no way.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we just have to hold on to those personal experiences, and
Yeah,
we know that they're our experiences, they're our evidence.
yeah,
People will come along and say, "Oh, he imagined it. He just heard it, in his head, or whatever." People will come along and say that, but
right.
that's your experience, your evidence.
So, like, in your paranormal journey, have you ever investigated a location just by yourself, nobody else in the vicinity, or
Yes, I've been to a local abandoned RAF base alone. Um, that was quite scary, but not because of spirit. Spirit doesn't scare me at all. Just the fact that I could have, obviously being an abandoned building, I was worried there could have been someone else there, someone maybe sleeping rough or looking around that might not have been pleasant or something. So yeah, I did. I've done it once.
yeah, I have not done it yet. I almost did last June, but my daughter's like, Dad, I don't really want you doing it alone, being in the middle of Iowa
Mm.
for 2 days by yourself. I'm not going to be able
Yeah,
to sleep. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah.
like,
It's not really safe.
I go fair enough. It's like someday I want to,
Yeah,
but it's just like, you got to make sure like she's comfortable with it just because, she worries and it's like, I go, yeah,
yeah,
I'd be fine, but
yeah, yeah.
let's see, where do I want to go now? I don't know if I asked this one yet. So for the paranormal, like how would you describe what it is to you?
Well, the paranormal to me is like it's my whole life in a lot of ways. So, um, it's the paranormal is just it's anything that you can't explain or science can't explain. So, to me, it's spirit, UFOs, cryptids, all those sorts of things. Um, it's it's everything that we don't know and we can't explain. But yeah, it's something I love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like I'm so passionate about it. It's like,
Yeah,
not just investigating, but doing the research and history on the
yeah,
locations,
exactly.
reaching
Yeah,
out to people, hearing
yeah,
their stories. It's just
mm,
like
yeah,
there's like so many different ways you can go about it.
yeah, yeah. It just becomes a lifestyle, doesn't it? Of trying different things, meeting new people, going to new locations, learning the history, and it's amazing. I can't
Yeah,
imagine not having it in my life.
yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go back to investigating. So the Graiseley Old Hall, how many times have you investigated that location?
Twice now.
Twice. What's a
Yeah.
little history on that? Because again, looking through your page, like all these locations are like locations I've never heard of. It's like I know a lot
Yeah.
of, UK based locations, but I'm just like, I've never heard of this one before.
So Gray's the Old Hall. It has a nickname of the House That Cries. And that's due to some time back when a paranormal group was investigating, quite yeah, many years back. I think it was probably one of the first investigations they perhaps had there. There was puddles of water appearing, sort of as they were walking around. These puddles were appearing on the floor.
Interesting.
Um, so it got the nickname the House That Cries. Um, it's a very old building in Wolverhampton, which is in the Midlands area. And it's kind of strange because it's this really old building, but it's kind of right in the middle of a newish housing estate. So you go through these houses, these sort of flats and houses and things, and you've got this big set of gates. You go through the gates up a short track, and then you think you're in the middle of nowhere, but it's sort of quite near the city. So yeah, it's quite a strange place when you get there. Um, as far as I know, it was used during the war, um, for sort of a for the military to. I think it was like offices and things for the officers, and it's been used as a school and as a family home. Um, it's a really interesting place. It's beautiful as well, so beautiful.
So what kind of in your two investigations there, what were your experiences?
It's strange. The experiences we had there were actually both in the same room. So the rest of the house fairly quiet, but one of the bedrooms, I think we called it the grey room or the beige room. I'm not sure. It was one of the biggest bedrooms because there is one, two, three, four. There's five bedrooms upstairs. Um, yeah, everywhere else was fairly quiet except this room. Um, so myself and one of my other investigators, we went in and we did the other areas first because we thought they might be quite quiet. But then as we walked into this bedroom, the energy we felt was the same as the first time we'd investigated there. There was sort of a very heavy sort of male presence there. Um, and that's where I was grabbed on the arm
Okay.
in that room.
Yep, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how
It's
big of a like property is it compared to others? Just to kind of get, put it into context.
no, it's probably small compared to some of the ones that I've been to. But it's because I try and go with a small team, so I usually only take three other investigators with me. So for four of us,
Okay.
it's ideal. Yeah. So I think there's five bedrooms upstairs, and then you've got a kitchen and three small rooms downstairs.
Okay. So like you said, when you go investigate, it's only the four of you. Do you think it's like for investigations, do you think it's better to have, you know, a smaller group or like a larger group? Like what's the largest you've ever investigated with?
So when I've been leading groups for sort of events companies, we have had up to sort of 12 in a group. I've it can work, but I think if you're doing EVPs and listening, I think it's a few too many. I think four is ideal. Um, you can sit quietly, listen. It's much more controlled with fewer people.
Yeah.
And although some people say do you not lack energy with just four of you, but the amount of energy me and the three girls that I investigate with give off is is pretty immense. So I think there'll be enough energy.
Yeah, because like I've investigated with like, as few as, just my daughter and myself, and then like,
Yeah.
four, and then I've investigated with eight, and then, you know, kind of like, fit up to 15, 20 people.
Mm.
But it's just like, we've had mixed results. It's like when it's
Yeah.
just my daughter and I, we've had good interactions, but then again, it's been quieter. And one investigation this past October, we had eight of us. And when
Mm.
we kind of separated and investigated the location, with us in different parts, we didn't get anything. But then when we all came together, the building just
Yeah.
came alive. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you get mixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I certainly don't rule out going with bigger groups. But yeah, I quite like the energy that the four of us have.
Yeah.
We've found each other and we've kind of stuck together and it really works well.
Yeah. Like for us, like our old team, we had nine, and then we kind of separated and went our own ways due to various
Mm.
reasons. But now it's like we're a team of four, and it's like
Yeah.
we've only been on one investigation together, but it's like we just like, meld so good. I think it's like, going throughout this year, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be investigating, collaborating with other teams and people, but
Yeah.
it's like the core four, I think we're gonna, get great stuff. And it's just like we
Yeah.
have fun together, and
Yeah.
it's like that's what
Yeah.
it is. You have to be comfortable with who you're working with. And
Yeah. Yeah.
in the paranormal, it's like, yeah, you want to meet new people, but then it's like, again, you have to be careful who you investigate with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I do think who you go out with makes a massive difference to what you get and what you pick up,
Yeah,
definitely.
because you want people that are like, as into it and passionate as you are, and
Yeah.
not just there for, likes and views and, to
Yeah.
fluff it up to make it not
And
real.
jump scares and things. Yeah.
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 Because like when I put out my content, it's like I keep it authentic and as true as I can. It's like what
Yeah.
I witness during an investigation is what you
Yeah.
see on my channel. It's like I don't
Yeah.
add anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I do. That's why I like to do the live feeds rather than the edited videos. There's two reasons. First of all, I don't have time to sit and do editing because I'm always so busy at home. So it's a case of go live. Here it is. What you see is what you get. That's it. And if nothing happens, then okay, you've got a couple of hours of live feed where nothing happens, but
You know,
that's what it's like.
but it's like, for my footage, I'm just finishing up stuff that we did last summer because again,
Yeah,
it's like having, two kids, work, stuff around the house. It's like
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
really find the time to like go through everything. That's daunting.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
takes so long.
it's like people think like, paranormal investigating, it's like you pick a location, you go, you
Yeah.
record, you put out a video. There's so much more to it than that. It's like you have to
Oh yeah.
book the places, there's the travel, you
Hmm.
know, obviously the filming and the
Yeah.
editing and like, not putting stuff in there that you don't want. It's just like
Yeah.
it's so time consuming, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Let's see. How about where do I want to go? Another location I had on my list that Mannequin Hall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting place. I am back there in June. I'm doing a charity event there.
Okay.
So people can pay to do 2 hours investigating. And then they'll do 2 hours with me, but then me and the team will stay on and investigate later. But it's just a taster for people so they can sort of experience something, hopefully, at Mannequin Hall. So Mannequin Hall it's a very strange place. It is a mannequin graveyard, basically. The lady that owns it takes in mannequins from shops and where people have finished using mannequins, for dressing up in windows and things.
Okay.
They all go to her, and then she sort of basically makes them look new and amazing. And then she uses them. She sends them out sort of to film sets all over the world, and sort of resells them and does all sorts of magical things with them. So she uses them. They use them a lot in films, and yeah, it's
Okay.
an amazing place. So there's just body parts everywhere, stacks
It
of body
sounds
parts.
like it could be like a good horror movie.
Yeah, it is, and I think with investigating there, that's the scariest part because you turn around and there's always eyes looking at you. No, but it's actually in an old RAF. It's on a part of an old RAF airfield.
Okay.
So it's in the mess hall that the soldiers would have used, for their dinners and things. And then there are some other buildings there that also, but belong to the RAF. So it's got quite a long military past there.
Yeah. So like, for investigating there, has there ever been anybody that like has said that they've seen a mannequin move at
Well,
all?
we saw a mannequin move actually, and it was outside because quite a lot of it is sort of outside. Some of the mannequins are stored out. We were outside. This was just me and my daughter, and we were doing a live. And this mannequin behind us, there is stacks of them. You can just imagine there is like they're all literally stacked, one after the other. And this mannequin just lifted up a little bit and then went down again. And we were like, "Oh my god!"
Oh,
But we put it down to that there was no one else there, so no one had moved it. But we put it down to maybe a rat running under and
okay.
dislodging them, or because you're outside, it was possibly a rat or something going under there. But it certainly made us jump.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's this one location in Wisconsin that we've investigated a couple times. It's Jericho Haunted Trinity. It's like a convent, a church, and a schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Well, on the third floor of the schoolhouse, there's a closet that's just like filled to the brim with mannequins. It's just like I'm like, okay, what if one of those mannequins started walking at me? What
Yeah.
would I do? It's like, would I be like okay, cool, or would I like hightail it out of there and not come back?
Yeah, yeah, they're really creepy, aren't they? This like they are so creepy. You
You
just
know,
at night, they're all just looking at you.
well, there's this one job I had a long time ago. I worked for Nordstrom, and there'd be times in the summer where, like during the big sales, I'd work overnight and I have to bring stuff up to different departments. I'm like, I swear these mannequins, they don't have eyes, but I
Yeah,
swear they're watching me.
yeah, it feels like it.
You know? So for um Mannequin Hall, like what would you say was your most interesting interaction there?
Um, I would say that would be an Estes session. I was in the Estes with the headphones on, and my daughter was writing things down, and I was giving out just random numbers and some names. They meant absolutely nothing to me at all, nothing to my daughter at all. And when we finished the next day, we the lady that runs it, Roz, she asked us, so what did you pick up? What did you get? And we sort of said, to be honest, not a lot really. We got this from Estes. And then she looked at the information and noted down that the names and the numbers and the dates are all relevant to a really big aeroplane crash that happened there.
Hmm.
I'd picked up, I think there was, uh, this might be wrong, but I think there was something like 12 people killed, and I'd given most of the names. I think I was too short. All the names were correct, and also the year. I'd given numbers which were the year. So whether it was coincidence or whether it was spirit talking through the spirit box, we'll never know, will we? But it seemed a rather big coincidence that
Oh,
you know
definitely.
I didn't know it, and the names knew nothing, meant nothing to me at all. But I picked them up through the spirit box. So
That is
yeah.
definitely interesting.
Hmm.
All right, so let's kind of shift base here a little bit. So for paranormal equipment, what would you say is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
To be honest, I haven't really got a favorite piece. And it the the piece that I would use most, like more of the time, would depend on the location. Um, I sort of kind of sometimes I like the Magnavex, which I use, which detects a change in the magnetic polarity. That one's really good, and the air pressure device that I use, which will, if there's a really strong change in air pressure, that will alarm. I do like those two. They're probably up there with my favourite, and I do
Okay,
like the Spirit Box for Estes. But yeah, all equipment is it's all useful, it's all good, but I haven't really got a favorite bit, to be honest.
okay. So what are your takes? I don't know if you use them, but like the apps that people have for investigating that are on your phones.
Well, apps are a really sticky one on me. So I think if you download an app and it doesn't ask for access to your microphone or your location, I think go ahead and use it. I've used a few. I use Spirit Talker sometimes, and I've used Necrophonics. I know a lot of people diss them, and I wouldn't use them as gospel evidence, but I think they can work alongside other. If you're using it together with something else, I think you can get some really good answers on there. But I wouldn't just put Spirit Talker on and just kind of let it lead me, because I find some people kind of let it lead them,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
Yep.
a word will come up and they'll go, oh, is that right? And they kind of run with what it's saying. But I think if used alongside something else and it's making sense with other evidence and other things that you're picking up, then I
Hmm.
think it does. They do have a place.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I have some on my phone. It's like I hardly ever use them. And it's like,
Mm.
for equipment, I have, a fair share of equipment, but it's kind of like I bring it all with when I go on investigations.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I do that.
ironically, I find that I don't really use that much of it. It's like,
Yeah,
I might, put out the music box or the REM
yeah,
pod, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like I like equipment, but then again, I don't.
yeah, yeah. I get exactly what you mean. I always take everything with me and find that only three or four things have come out the box.
Yeah. Because I think like one of my, I can think of like on an investigation, one of the craziest paranormal experiences I had is like we were at Farrar Elementary School in Iowa, and we were just wrapping up the investigation. It's like 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and
Mm.
everybody was in one of the classrooms that has like 12 different dolls, and we were getting great interaction there. But I go, I'm gonna go step out in the hallway, just take a series of pictures.
Hmm.
So like I had my phone down my waist, taking the pictures, and what I captured on my phone, I actually saw happening in real time. There was like a white light orb, I don't really know what to call it. It was like in the
Yeah.
hallway, and it's like it started moving up the stairs, and I saw it going up the stairs, kind of off to the right a little bit by the desk, and then shot across into a closet. And it's like
Mm.
I actually got it on picture while saw it
Wow.
happening. It was just like so crazy,
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? When you see something, it just confirms everything in your head, doesn't it?
right? And it's like,
Really?
so the only light that was, visible was like one of the exit signs. So like the whole hallway was lit up
Yeah,
red, and like to see the spirit moving across. It was just like,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? I'm just like stopped dead in my tracks. It's like I didn't
yeah,
want to move.
yeah. That's amazing.
So for you, like, what would you say would be the craziest spirit interaction over the last 4 years?
I think the craziest and most intelligent that I've ever had, which I will never ever be able to get my head around, was at a place called the Doll's House, which is in Kent. This is just an ordinary terraced house. I think it's like probably 1970s. So not an old house, just a normal terraced house. And I was there. There was four of us there, and I'd set up the Pararem, which is the REM pod with the coloured lights
Okay, yep.
that come down. Yeah, and I'd put it on the top of the stairs, on the landing area, just at the top of the stairs. And we were in one of the bedrooms calling out, and the REM pod went off. So of course we were like, oh, exciting! It'd never gone off before, and do you know what? I think it's only ever gone off once after that in 4 years. So I was like amazed it actually worked. It beeped. So we asked for spirit to come and do it again. It did. I was like, all right, okay, that's interesting. So we went out onto the area where the REM pod was sat, and I asked spirit to come and touch it again, and it did. So I thought, okay, so if it just beeps once, it could be anything. It could be environmental radio waves, anything. So after the third time, I thought, hang on, this is quite interesting. So I asked Spirit to come towards the REM pod, but touch it just enough so that the blue light went on. And it did exactly that. And then I asked it to come and touch the REM pod until the purple light went on. It did exactly that. And I went through all of the colours and not in order either. I was mixing them up. And every single colour I asked for, it did.
That's
And
awesome.
I was so shocked. In the end, I actually went through all the colours again, but I asked it to hold the blue colour for 4 seconds, and Spirit did that. And then asked Spirit to hold the green for 2 seconds. It did exactly that. And all four of us, we were so in shock, but we spent ages. The rest of the investigation went just down the pan because we were trying the whole time to work out how to debunk it. So we thought, we even thought, did the neighbour have walkie talkies, and was that setting it off, or
Yeah,
something? But then, if that's the case, if it was just a REM pod that just beeped, that could have been it. But how could they have held it for exactly as long as we were asking on the same colour we were asking?
Yeah.
Like how would anyone be able to see that?
Right.
Um, we just tried every possible way. How could that have happened? And I have got it all on video as well. So it was amazing.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to like one of the investigations I had last year. I had a new music box, and we were like at an old YMCA that, had history with the mob and, you know, other various entities throughout the years. But we're
Yeah.
like in the classroom, and I was sitting on a chair next to the teacher's desk, and I had the music box next to me, like,
Mhm.
5, 6 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And it was like continuously going off for like 10 or 15 minutes. But it's like when we asked it to stop, it would stop and then it would start up again. And it's just
Wow.
like, it was just like so crazy where it's like
Yeah.
somebody did not like me sitting where I was sitting. And it was like
Yeah.
apparently staring at me, like telling me to move. And it's like, as soon as I moved, then it wouldn't go off. So like
Yeah.
it would like follow me, and it's just like I kept feeling there was somebody standing next to me, but then
Hmm.
but whoever else sat in that same chair would not get
Yeah.
any interaction with the music box.
Strange. It's just amazing though, isn't it? When it does happen, and
Yeah,
when you're asking for something if you're asking for like the music box to stop and it stops, and that it's like wow. It's just
yeah.
fascinating.
But yeah, there's just like, so many experiences out there. It's like I've only been doing
Yeah.
this almost, it'll be 2 years next month, and it's just like
Mm.
I know I've barely scratched the surface. It's just like
Yeah.
there's like so many things I want to see and
Yeah.
encounter. And it's like if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just insane.
It is amazing.
So I'll kind of save some more investigation stuff for next week for when Jada's on. But another
Okay.
thing that I saw on your page, I've never heard it. I don't know if it's something that's just UK based or if it's like, you know, all around the world, but the Ghost Planet Network. What is that?
Oh yeah, the Ghost Planet Network is a UK thing.
Okay.
It's just try and explain it to you. It's all run by a man named Neil Packer. He's an amazing man who runs a channel on, I think it's Roku TV,
Okay.
which I don't know if you can get that in America. It's like a TV stick
Yeah, yeah,
that
we
you
can get
bit
that
like the
here.
Amazon. Yeah, yeah. So on the Roku stick, you can get this Ghost Planet Network channel. So he runs that channel. He also runs the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Leicestershire. Um, but he also does these amazing parameets. So a couple of times a year, he books the location, and paranormal investigators all meet up together, get to know each other. There's talks on about different things, anything linked to the paranormal. There's little stalls where you can buy things, and he also does the Ghost Planet Network Paranormal Awards. So, which I have been nominated for one this year, which is
Oh, that's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's a nice awards ceremony at night with a meal after the parameet during the day. So it's just amazing to go and spend an entire day or a weekend. It's on all weekend with everybody. All these people that love the paranormal, the same as us. So it's lovely.
That's really awesome. Let's see. What was I had a thought again. Oh, yes. So I saw on your post, I think it was yesterday, you had gotten in the mail a hex box.
Yes,
So
yes.
that you're going to be testing out this week, was it?
Yeah, tomorrow I leave for Liverpool for
Okay.
2 nights. So I'm going to be investigating at the Adelphi Hotel. So I will take that with me and try that out there. So I'm excited to see what it does.
Yeah, so we can cover more on that next week because I'd like to hear. all
Yep.
about that because I'm just like, a hex box. I go, that sounds really interesting. I never heard of
It,
that.
it sounds awesome, doesn't it? It's a great
Yeah.
name.
So like, some of the I know like over here we got, different paranormal companies and equipment, but like for like the stuff that you use and get over in the UK, is that like available to us over here? You know?
I think some companies post to the US. I know you've got a lot more over there than we have. But there are a few sort of local sort of people that do 3D printing. A lot of my devices are from Andy, who a man called Andy who does Skytech, and he 3D prints these devices, and they're great devices. And there's also GEC Paratech over here. She's a lady that makes equipment. So it's yeah, there's a few sort of local places, but
Okay.
you've got a lot more over there in the US.
Yeah, I normally get my equipment from ghoststop.com or
Yeah,
ghostaugustine.com, but I know there's other ones as well. And like, even some teams make their own equipment. And,
yeah,
but again, it's just like, trying to find the place that sells, the best stuff that's going to be not like cheaply put together and
yeah, exactly.
that
Yeah,
works. And,
yeah, yeah.
um, okay, so one last kind of topic today, a little non-paranormal. So since I don't know, do you follow sports at all?
No, I
No.
don't.
Okay,
No.
because I was just gonna see like, today being Super Bowl Sunday,
Ah,
say if you did follow football, who would you root for in the Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks or the New England Patriots?
ooh, I like the sound of the Seattle Seahawks.
I think that's, right now
Is that
that's
is that a good answer?
that is a yeah, good answer because, like, I think the consensus is everybody wants the Seahawks to win because the Patriots, they're like, one of those teams that everybody either loves or they hate. They had
Right.
like a
Okay.
super run a few years ago. They won like six Super Bowls and they were like a dynasty team.
Yeah.
And now they're back in the Super Bowl and it's like, just nobody wants to see them win again. They want like something different.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I know I'll be watching and I'll be rooting for Seattle, not just for the fact that I don't like the Patriots, but they beat my team to get to the Super Bowl. So it's kind of
Oh
like
gosh. Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
little bitter on that.
Just a bit.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'm going to save the rest of the topics that I have written down. Plus, I'll have a few more. And I know Jada will have some questions because she was doing some research on your page and prepping for her side of this. So I'll kind of like next week, I'll have her more so lead so she can get her questions and stuff in.
Yep. No problem.
And I look forward to hearing about your investigation that you have coming up tomorrow. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about, other plans you have for this year and
Yep.
some other great topics.
Excellent.
All
Sounds
right. Well,
good.
I thank you for taking
Yep.
some time today to join,
No
and we
problem.
shall talk to you again next week for part two.
Excellent.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yep. You have a
Thank you.
great week.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Bye.